first place. Meanwhile, Trump is protectively warning the 2024 election will be stolen. He's been debuting a new slogan at rallies across the country, urging his supporters to give him a lead, quote, too big to rig. And with each day that passes, it is becoming increasingly clear that January 6th isn't a threat left in the past or in our history. As long as Donald Trump eyes the White House, his election lies present a clear and present danger to our very democracy. Kicking us off this hour, former Congressman Joe Walsh, host of White Flag with Joe Walsh, and Chuck Rocha, founder of Solidarity Strategies. Gentlemen, it's great to have both of you with us. Joe, I'll start with you. What do you make of how Trump's language has shifted as we played there since January 7th, 2021 to today? Why do you believe he has decided to embrace the insurrection so publicly and forcibly as his reelection strategy?
Eamon, I loved everything you said, and that was interesting that Trump's trying to separate himself from the people who rioted on January 6th. But I think the truth is even scarier. Trump is reflecting what the base believes. Trump and the Republican Party base, Eamon, they feed off of each other. I come from that base, you know that, right? And I still engage with these folks every day. And Eamon, I'm telling you, they believe January 6th, now 3 years later, they believe it was a good day. They believe it was a patriotic day. They believe these January 6th insurrectionists are patriots and hostages. Trump's reflecting where the base is. That's even scarier.
Chuck, Trump has tried to draw this connection, if you will, between the prosecution of these rioters and what he views as this witch hunt against him. But, you know, as I mentioned, he's been able to delay his accountability for himself so far. Do these people sitting in prison cells honestly believe that this ex-president is one of them?
They do, and it's still a good point that Walsh said, is that they will follow him no matter what. And this is an electoral strategy that we should all be made aware of. I mean, you know that I still run campaigns every day. And when you run a campaign, you have to figure out where's enough votes to win an election. And if the same people that showed up at the last election show up at this election, he loses. And he's lost even more support with suburban women in places like Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Wisconsin. And now what he's doing is very intentional about using this red meat to the base to try to get new people. He's got to have new people, and in my opinion, new crazy people who will come in and listen to this rhetoric to get them to vote, or he has no path to the election. That's why I think this is a very calculated communication strategy that he's running.
How much, Joe, do you think that this focus on January the 6th is actually preparing Trump supporters for the possibility that the ex-president will lose, may fail to secure enough votes come Election Day, and January 6th was simply a dry run? Happened very quickly, maybe in the course of a couple weeks. Now he has a much longer leadway to prepare this base of his for a hostile takeover.
So let's just say the truth, no matter how damn ugly it is. Donald Trump wanted January 6th to happen. Let's be clear about it. He wasn't indifferent toward it when it happened. He was gleeful. Trump purposely wanted there to be violence. I mean, I think, like, not just your audience, Eamon, but the American people need to wrap their arms around that. When Donald Trump would say months before the 2020 election that the only way I can lose is if it will be stolen, that is a direct call to his supporters that if he loses, you need to get violent. You rightly pointed out he's doing the same thing now, months before the election. He's telling his voters it will be stolen. That's the only way I can lose. He wants there to be violence, period.
Yeah, so to that point, Chuck, how afraid should we be? How terrifying is it that for our democracy, Trump is doing this planning out so in the open?
I think that it shows the desperation and the desperation to win. I hear it all across the country when we're doing focus groups and we're talking to voters, regular persuadable voters.